Hello, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 9. The first thing I'm doing this episode is updating my mods, because that's never gone wrong before. Oh, and surprisingly, it didn't. The second thing I'm doing this episode is revealing the roadmap. We completed a ton last episode, and it looks like this episode we don't have anything old on the backlog, so maybe we'll...
What?
What's going on? Screw what this episode was going to be about. It is going to be transport drones. Now it's going to be transport drones. Holy crap. And in addition to transport drones, it seems like we also have cargo.
I'm making them all, baby.
It seems like we have cargo ships as well. And I think it's been there for a while, but I just never thought that they would allow me to have cargo ships. But as you can see here, I've got my ship and I've got my cargo ship, and it seems to be working. So I'm going to go ahead and explore around a little bit with my little boat here, just because I haven't done any exploration in a long time. And then I have to figure out the best way I could implement cargo ships and transport drones into this world. After sailing around a bunch, I first of all revealed a lot more of the map, and second of all, I came across this. It's an island, safe from biters, and I have big plans for that island, but the other thing I came across was this. It's an even bigger island. It's farther away. But I'd like to test out the cargo port logistics, and I think the best way to pilot it would be to remove this massive bridge I built across the lake. My plan for cargo ships is to have a giant loop around this lake, and I know it'd be easier for the cargo ships to cut across the lake, but I think it'll be messy and more of a headache if I have that and I add another one and they're just crisscrossing and stuff. So I think it's a lot easier if we just make them go around the lake in a loop, even if it's a tad slower. It's just much more scalable. And for basic cargo ship logistics, I need three things. I need a cargo ship loading station, a cargo ship unloading station, and a logistics plan. We can do the plan later. First, let's start with the stations. And also, I can just flash up the plan real quick. And that should be good. So yeah, let's start with the cargo ship loading and unloading stations. So here I am in the test world, and as I build the loading and unloading station in the background, I'll explain what the logistics plan is. To be quite frank, there is none. We don't have access to the cargo ship equivalent of rail signals, so these cargo ships will kind of just ram into each other with no remorse. And I can only really have one cargo ship per water track, so if I want more than one cargo ship to go out, I'll need the cargo ships to be going in layered loops. Like a ring of trees, or like an onion. Like everyone knows what layered loops are. But to be quite honest, I'm not 100% happy with the design. I've decided to fill it to the brim with loaders so that I have the maximum load/unloading speed. But I realized that everything I ship will be stacked, and thus loading and unloading time shouldn't be very long at all. I've got very much a function over form build, and it's very fat. If it's really wide, if I had made it thinner, I could stack a ton of them side by side. And I'm considering redoing them, but I think the only thing really holding me back is because in the future I know that I'll have a line for the cargo ships to wait at, and I shouldn't really have any throughput issues then. So, like the speed of the cargo ships loading and unloading will matter a lot more, as there will be other ships waiting for them. So I think it'll be fine. But anyways, let's go ahead and remove this bridge. And then replace it with a port. Research assembling machines 2 and its dependencies so I can start producing things without fuel and ash. Oh, never mind. But it's alright because there was fuel and an ash line nearby. Speaking of fuel, turns out we can't just jam any fuel into the cargo ship, so let's go ahead and make a new dedicated cargo ship fuel line. And while we're at it, let's be a little extra and make the dedicated cargo ship fuel line a little more efficient with coal processing too. This turns raw coal into coal dust coal and coarse coal, all of which can be consumed by cargo ships. We can turn X energy into Y energy. Lastly, setting up the deposits and the cargo ships was extremely tedious. All right, and now that I have the new fuel line, I can go ahead and create a dock on the other side, which unfortunately means more tedious setting up. And now that it's done, let's go for a test run. This works awesome. It's awesome. But you know what would be better than one cargo ship? 4 cargo ships. Oh, fuck! 3 cargo ships. Yes, our plan for 3 cargo ships is going well. Some of them have very tight landings. Even me, the past, is surprised. Jesus Christ. But anyways, let's go ahead and just watch these guys run to make sure there are no issues. Something to note about these cargo ships is that they are extremely slow, but they do have a cargo size inventory of about 1,000 spots, which is insane. So I really should have spent more time configuring my cargo ships, because I may or may not have a close to 60,000 shotgun shells and magazine turrets in there. So I have like 120,000 military magazines and shells just floating around in these cargo ships, and that's not exactly super useful. This is me giving up on saving all the tailings dust now that I'm going to be producing it forever, because I have hundreds of thousands of magazines in random storage places between ports and ships. And this is me increasing tar production to keep up with my military demand, because I have hundreds of thousands of magazines in random storage places between ports and ships. And then here is me designing said tar production block. I was originally not going to have this section, but the build took much longer and it was much bigger than I'd anticipated. Surprise, surprise. But this little production block turns wood into tar, and it also turns the wood into excess coal into tar and excess syngas. So it produces tar as a primary output and then also syngas as well. And it looks really good. I also fixed some other problems on this side, like the military production block was stuck, my main fuel was clogged, it took a long time to investigate, one of my ores stopped running for some reason, and the mixed ores sushi belt, which I guess is now just a general excess materials belt, was clogged, so I decided to start burning a bunch of my stone. Anyways, the last thing on my list to do is to create a new port over here and another port over here. Okay, well, I don't want to keep handcrafting these expensive platforms every time I need to make a port, so let's automate platform production. But now I realize I have no gravel coming in, so let's add gravel to the byproduct sushi belt and route it all the way over here. And then also we can just expand gravel production in general. All that for a mere around 11 platforms per second, but it should build up between builds, so it's fine. Now that we have platforms, we can the port on the island and begin on that next episode. And that is all for the episode. So thank you to my patrons, John Boy, Ema, Sterling, Zark, Simple, Anglerfish, and Hollow, and I will see you guys, as always, in the next episode.